Hey guys, what's up? It's Anthony Council here, part of Grind2Grad, and this is the very first ever Zoom workshop for financial literacy. We have a very special guest on the show today. We have Mr. Benjamin, and if you guys missed our first show on Instagram, you guys can go to Grind2Grad, our Instagram page, and you can watch the whole entire show with me and Benjamin, just doing a little bit of a talk about financial literacy, how to stay in the know of how to make money, how to save money, how to keep things rolling when you're talking about your finances, because as college students, it can be hard to keep up with your money, and also as college students, we like to spend a lot of things, so we just want to make sure that you guys are in the know of how to keep your money, how to spend it, how to make wise decisions when it comes to spending your money. And this is more of a dissection of that segment on Instagram. So we're going to take a little more of a deep dive into what financial literacy is. And we're just going to let Ben take it away. So go right ahead, bro.
Thank you for that introduction, Anthony. As he said, I do specialize, I guess is the word that I would like to use when it comes to just helping people make smart decisions with their money. Like you said, my name is Benjamin Fields. I'm originally from New Orleans. I moved to North Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. Came back to New Orleans for college, where I attended Loyola University, New Orleans, majored in finance. Graduated from there and started working for my brother full time. He's in music. I took the role in his company as his business manager, which is basically meaning that I look at everything coming in money wise, look at everything going out, help make good decisions, and try to just put us in the best position company wise to move forward and to be better each and every day. So that's what I do. And then I actually ended up going back to school for another semester. I played another semester of basketball, and I took all accounting classes during that semester in pursuit of another bachelor's degree in accounting. In that time span, I got approached by the managing partner of New York Life Insurance and Investments, which is a 175-year-old billion-dollar insurance and investments company. And he offered me the position to do personal financial planning for people. Their values aligned with mine, and I was able to continue to be flexible, continue to work with my brother. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years, going on 3, and I love it. I'm able to have conversations with people, help them day to day with everything regarding saving their income, protecting their income, investing it, and making sure that they're budgeting correctly. So it's just a little bit about me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we are talking about financial literacy, and I kind of want to go back to the first question that we had on our previous talk on Instagram. And if you could just elaborate on a little bit more of what is financial literacy.
I feel like financial literacy is simply being educated and understanding what you're doing financially, whether that be regarding your financial goals, whether that be regarding what you value personally. When it comes down to just being financially literate, it's just simply just understanding, truthfully understanding what you want to do and how you're going to do it financially.
Okay, cool. So how is one to, I guess, get knowledgeable about their finances?
Oh, well, I feel like that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. I wanna get people a full, simple understanding of simple things that they can do, whether that be in a position that they're in right now, in a position that they anticipate to be in the future. I know this is something that we focus on with students, whether it be high school, college, grad school, and on beyond, to just take that step back, understand where they are, truly understand where they are, and understand the action steps that they can do each and every day. So I know a question that I wanted to touch on at the beginning of this was, why is it even so hard for us to have these finance conversations? I feel like something within the culture, within even younger people, something that's possibly been passed down generation after generation, is that these conversations are easy to have. Once you bring up finances, people, want to take a little step back, or they have a hardened heart, or become a little bit closed off. So I know that's something that I'm trying to normalize. I'm trying to make it a more approachable subject. I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to truly understand, and not to uh, add shame to someone's situation or make someone feel bad, but truly to help put them in a better position than they were before we had that conversation. So that's something I wanted people to, sit on, think about for a little while. And once we go from there, we can just take little steps and have little tidbits and little aspects of things that we can do to make that better.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, honestly, I'm just gonna kind of just let you take it
That's
away. So yeah, go right ahead.
Let's do it. Well, certainly excited to be here, and I don't want this to be weird or anything. I certainly want this to be something like a conversation that I'm facilitating, but only thing that we're going to be needing is a piece of paper and a pen. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to have some little aspects of things that we can do, and then we can go from there. So one of the first things that I wanted to ask, and something I ask on all of my meetings, especially when we're talking about finances, is I want people to think of what's more important than money to them. And I know I asked that question, a lot of people get a little, step back a little bit because this is supposed to be a money meeting. So when we're talking about finances and money, why are you asking me what's more important than that? And I ask that because once you understand what you value, it's very important to take that in consideration when you're thinking of anything regarding finances. If you don't make financial goals or have a financial plan centered around what you value or what motivates you, it's going to be very seldom that you do whatever is necessary in order to contribute to a certain plan or a certain vehicle in order to get you to reaching that goal. So I'm going to actually do that myself, and y'all can do that as well. Write down what's more important than money to you. Appreciate y'all using that chat. Yeah, I see that. I see you. Couple more seconds. I have my written down, and I'm gonna be transparent on this call. I'm gonna share my values. I'm gonna share some of my goals, and I'm gonna share some of the things that I do as well. So ideally, I ask that question: what's more important than money to you? And I get answers, and these are my answers. I put faith, I put family, I put relationships, service, I put legacy, comfort, and happiness. And I like to, of course, repeat those things, especially when we're talking about financial plans, because I know personally within me, and when I'm talking to someone else, or if I was talking to Fred in the chat and I see he put impact in relationships, his financial plan needs to be centered around the impact that he wants to have and the relationship he has and wants to make. And then if I'm talking about Aliana, and she's talking about family and stability, her financial plan needs to be centered around her family and her stability in order for her to want to do things, in order to accomplish those goals. So I know personally with me, my financial plan would want to be centered around my faith, my family, my relationships, what I want to do regarding service, how I want to leave a legacy, my comfort, my happiness. And that helps me understand, okay, these are the things that motivate me. So if I'm thinking about financial goals, I want my plan to be centered around those things because I want to be motivated to take action where necessary. And another question, when you think of financial goals, I want you to think long-term and short-term. What are those goals that are important enough to you that you're willing to put money aside in order to accomplish them? And I'm gonna, take a step back. I'm gonna write down those goals as well, and you can use the chat or however so to write down your goals. Question is, what are the financial goals that are important enough to you that you're willing to put money aside in order to accomplish them? Fred, the question was, what are the financial goals, short-term or long-term, that are important enough to you that you're willing to put money aside in order to accomplish them? All right. I see. Those are, yeah. Travel freely, living comfortably, passing wealth. Yes. Getting education. Yes, yes, yes. Matching a salary. Yeah, that's big. Retiring early. Yep. Amazing goals. And that was one of my first ones on here. And I like to ask this question as well. And y'all can just think about it. Y'all really don't have to write anything down. But I always ask, what's your definition of retirement? I know most of us are young. I know Fred's a little older. But when I ask that question, a lot of people have that preconceived notion of like maybe how our parents did or how our grandparents did, or maybe working to a certain age, maybe like 68, and living off Social Security. But we're getting to the time to where we're understanding that we have a little bit more control over that retirement age than we are accustomed to. It's more so understanding like, okay, if I understand how much I'm making, understand how my retirement may work at my job, understand the retirement plans that I may personally be involved in, I can really calculate what to contribute to or how to contribute in order to retire at the age that I would like to. So that's me. Like my personal definition of retirement is just flexibility and control. I feel like I'm always going to be working in a certain regard. I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point where I'm not doing anything, but I definitely want to get to the point sooner than later to where I don't have to work. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people could agree with. They definitely want to get to a point to where, okay, I know a check is coming in and I can do what I want to do. And that would give a sense of security, a sense of comfort as well. So that was one of my first ones, retirement. Uh, Another one is a home. I definitely want to get to a point to where, you can buy that dream house, a vehicle. I know that's something that, tangible, but like tangible things, I mean, still take money. They still take planning in order to accomplish. And that's something that I definitely want to work towards. Future family, marriage, future family, children. I saw Aliana talk about education. That's definitely something that's I take pride in. My father's a principal, and I understand the value of a good education. So I definitely want to get to the point where my children's education will be taken care of, and they don't have to worry as well. Either business ventures. I'm working in my brother's business. I definitely have my own LLC that I definitely want to continue to leverage and build upon and do multiple things, whether it be real estate, whether it be restaurants, clothing companies, whatever I would like to do, and then growing from there. Um, legacy. I saw Liana mention legacy as well, passing on generational wealth, and that's something I take pride in. I already have like life insurance and definitely want to get to the point where I can pass down, whether that be businesses, whether that be homes, in order to establish something that can go on and on. And then put serve freely. I know that's something that my dad always said: service is the rent you pay for the space you occupy. So I take pride in just being able to serve in whatever capacity I can. So I definitely want to get to the point to where I can give without holding back, to the point to where it's like, if I see someone in need, I don't have to worry about if I'm going to need it, or if I'm going to, be in an awkward position after helping them out. I definitely want to give with no filter at all. So those are like two main questions that I always ask. Once you understand what you value, that helps you put more, realization on your goals. And then once you understand what your goals are, you understand where you want to be. Now it's important to take a step back and understand where you are right now. So something that you can think about. And of course, I'm going to just do little estimates on my sheet of paper. Is understand where your expenses currently are. And if you're in school, you might not even have constant expenses, which is a blessing. And understanding where your income currently is. And also, if you're in school, you might not have consistent income. So you can honestly gauge where the future may be, or use estimates as well. So with me, I understand that, okay, statistically speaking, there's three types of people. There's responsible people, there's irresponsible people, and there's irrational people regarding finances. A responsible person understands their values. They understand their goals. So they understand that they're going to have to put their money certain places in order to accomplish those things. So they take a step back, look at how much money they're bringing in, and they break that down. So I'm going to walk through the 80-20 rule that I use with my clients, and I actually break it down a little further, and I call it the 5-5-10. And I'm just going to be writing this down, but I basically take 100% of the income that you bring home, and I break that down 80% and 20%. So do two lines, 80% one side, 20%. And I'm gonna put this up to the camera so y'all can kind of see. Just break that down. I know it's backwards. 100%, 80%, 20%. I apologize for my handwriting. I'm left-handed. That 80% gets circled, and that's what we use for our expenses and leisure each month. We know that we don't want expenses and leisure to go over 80% of our take home each month. 80% going towards expenses and leisure. And then we break down that 20%. So I draw three lines coming from the 20%, 5% on one line, another 5% on another line, 10% on another line. Here's how that's looking. So 80% expenses and leisure, 20% broken down, 5%, 5%, 10%. How I break down this 5%, first 5% going towards saving. When I get to that aspect, I ask people this question: is there such thing as over saving? I'll wait. Yes, no, maybe so. Nope. I see nope. Maybe so. Depends on goals. So when I ask that, I ask people, how much was a bottle of Coke in the 1950s? So Fred, you said nope. How much was a Coke in a bottle of Coke in the 1950s? 5 cents. How much is a bottle of Coke now, Fred? $5. Exactly. And I always ask why. And of course, typically people, catch where I'm going. And it's like, oh, inflation. So that's why when I ask, is there such thing as oversaving? Okay, you want to get to a point, of course, when we're thinking about saving, we're thinking about expenses. So if my expenses are $1,000 a month, I would want to have $6,000 in an emergency fund, which is my savings account, because I want something that I can access quickly, that is liquid, that I can use in case of an emergency. But once you get to the point to where now you have 7,000 and 8,000 and 9,000, of course, that might feel good. Now I have a lot of money in the savings account. When you have goals, like Fred said, it depends on your goals. When you have goals that require money to be working, while that money might look good sitting in your savings account, everything around it is getting more expensive. So it's very important to understand, like, okay, I'm saving towards a goal. I'm not saving just to save. Once I reach that goal of like 6 months of expenses in a savings account, I still want to consistently be saving, but maybe let me link this savings account into a investment vehicle that's being funded consistently. I'm still saving the same, but now I know that I'm saving and that savings account has money working for it. So that's just a different way of thinking that I like to get people going with. That other 5% going towards protection. And this is something that, especially with young people, I want to get more accustomed to talking to them about. But once you get to a point to where someone's depending on your income and that you have a family, you have children, you want to protect that income. And there's no better way to protect that income than with life insurance. So when you're thinking about life insurance, especially at a younger age, it's very important to go ahead and secure that, because with insurance, it's basically transferring risk. You're transferring the risk of something happening to you to another company. It's always going to be less expensive when you're young, when you're healthy. So that's definitely an aspect to look at. But of course, moving on from there, 10% going towards that long-term investment. So when you're thinking of different vehicles, you're thinking of different aspects. When you break down that 20% of your 5-5-10, saving, protecting, investing. And that's a good way to even start a financial goal. I don't care if you have $100, $1,000, $10,000. You do this breakdown, you understand, okay, I get my expenses and leisure taken care of. I want to continue to keep going. I want to put myself in a better position for the future. I want to save my income. I want to protect my income for my loved ones. I want to invest my income for my future. So I'm going to do that same breakdown, and I'm going to just do it with $5,000 so you can actually see it with real numbers. And this is legitimately the same thing I do on typically all of my meetings. So 5,000 broken down, 80% of that is $4,000. 20% of that is $1,000. My expenses in leisure should not exceed $4,000 on a monthly basis. And then I just break down that $1,000. So that means that a minimum of $250 a month should be going towards a savings account. That means a minimum of $250 a month should be used to protect my income, whether that be through term insurance, whole life insurance, that's up to you. And then a minimum of $500 on a monthly basis should be going towards a vehicle that's working for you to reach that goals. And something that I also like to use, sometimes I loop that protection aspect and that long-term investment aspect into one thing. You can get a whole life insurance policy that's growing on your behalf, tax-free, that's protecting your income, and that's also creditor protected. And if something happens to you, your family's taken care of. It's killing multiple birds with one stone, and it takes it out of the, the risk aspect. I know a lot of people are interested in investing, but they're not really too fond of the volatility of the market. Something I do want to say is that you're young. You can take on some risks. So feel free to still research different stocks that you would like to look into, mutual funds, whatever you may be, to be knowledgeable on those things to help you with your goals in the long run. And that's typically the breakdown I like to use. I'm gonna put my page up to the screen to see if my page looks similar to y'all's. I know this wasn't more so, I don't know if I can get like a marker board to share my screen with on here. So I figured writing it down would be easy so you can, put down your own numbers, put down your own values, put down your own goals, and take that with you moving forward. Term investments. And boom. And I call that the 5-5-10. And it's only the 80-20 rule, just broken down a little bit further. I know a lot of people hear the 80-20 rule. Some people say live off the 20 and save the 80, or be investing the 80. And if that's something that you have the means to do, by all means, make that happen. But this is definitely not an end-all be-all thing, but it's one of the easiest ways that I found just to start, to get you a nice little aspect. And I know things are backwards, but it's just like, all right, I'm gonna just break down my current situation, my income, and just see what I would need. And in order to do this effectively, you need the basic things. You need the checking account, you need the savings account, you need the credit card to understand, like, all right, I want to be, the checking accounts, and in order to make sure all my bills are paid. I want to be saving, that understand I have a emergency fund, and I want the home, I want the vehicle in the future. I want to make sure that I'm in the best place as far as a credit score goes. So I want to be leveraging that. So using my credit card for those everyday expenses and making sure that if it's not in my checking account, I shouldn't be using my credit card because it's not free money. So those are, the aspects that I like to start off with, especially when we're speaking on financial literacy. But I feel like a lot of people these days want a little bit more action, want a little bit more action steps. They want a better understanding. So there's no better way to understand than taking that step back and understanding where you are in your specific situation, because it's all relative at the end of the day. Your goals are not going to be the same as my goals. The vehicles I use to reach my goals may not be the same as the vehicles you need in order to reach your goals. So it's very important to understand where you are in your specific situation. And that's typically where I'm at. I don't know if you had something else, Anthony. Maybe. Questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Fred, what's up? How can you avoid impulse decisions financially? I feel like, and this is, oh yeah, that is a struggle. I feel like once I order food every day. I feel like once you truly understand the goals that you have, and I feel like it gets bigger, especially like in that family regard, and you have those children, and you have those people relying on you. But once you truly understand, like, okay, whether it be a job that you're in, you're like, okay, I don't want to be doing this job for the rest of my life. Whether it be a situation that you're in, it's like, okay, I don't want to feel this stress. I don't want to feel this anxiety. If you have the opportunity to be like, okay, let me truly take a step back, truly see what I'm spending on, truly see where I want to be, that's usually the trigger point. That's why I ask people what they value. Because if you tell me that you value your family, that you value your freedom, that you value your comfort, that you value your happiness, and you're not doing the necessary things with your money in order to capitalize on that, then that might not be what you truly value. So once you take money out the aspect and you're like, okay, where do I actually want to be? Where do I actually want to like be spending my time? What do I want to be doing? You're gonna put your money to work that lines up with that. So that's my personal opinion. Chick-fil-A is my best friend. So even when you're speaking in a college aspect, or you're speaking like, okay, I want to be in a certain career, or I want to be in a certain place even past college, you want to start building those habits right now. So that discipline and consistency isn't easy. I know I use this analogy a lot. It's kind of like going to the gym. When you first start working out, you first enter the gym, we don't go straight to the bench and start lifting, 235. We might want to start lifting the bar a little bit. We want to start, saving, $5 every time we get paid, then $10, then 15. Then we might want to, start, putting money in this stock every time we get paid. And then maybe start looking at that ETF or that mutual fund. So I feel like once you take that and you understand, like, okay, I want to be financially fit, just like I want to be physically fit. It's a process. It's truly a process. So just like going to the gym, you can't eat certain foods. So just like, trying to get yourself in a financial situation, you can't spend on certain things just like you did. So I feel like that's the best way to look at it. Like, it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take, a mental change or a click in your brain to understand, like, okay, I'm going to have to literally move differently if I want to see different results. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it depends on the type of person you are. So some people understand like, okay, these are my expenses, like each month. Like if my expenses are $1,000 each month, it really would, like if I want to look at, each time I spend that $1,000. But if you know that, okay, I'm swiping this card a lot and I'm not even realizing what I'm swiping on. Yes, your bank offers you statements at the end of each month. I recommend you looking at those statements and, kind of having that come to Jesus moment. Like maybe I didn't know to need to go to Chick-fil-A, 8 out of these 7 days a week or whatever. So that's good. My mom tracks every single purchase. Yeah, I mean, if you're tracking purchases, I know that's something I have to do with profit and loss statements on the business side, truly understanding like everything that's coming in, everything that's going out. And that's, I mean, bigger than just like a fraud aspect, but it's more so like truly understanding like, are we capitalizing the money that we're given? I I'm reading. I'm reading more often, and even like how I operate on the client basis. There's a book, and I mentioned it on the live. It's called Value Based Financial Planning by Bill Bacharach, and it's really really good because people really operate differently, especially financially. Like some people are dependent or self-dependent. Like they want to make sure that someone else is like doing all this. They're delegating. Some people want to do it themselves, or some people want like better understanding. I feel like that's a good book that talks on finances, but it's also like a mental aspect of like how you want to operate, because whether you want to use an Excel sheet, whether you're going to be looking at bank statements each month, whether you're, doing accounting work and want to understand, or whether you're reading balance sheets of companies before you're investing in those companies, it's more so truly understanding where you are. So I feel like that's where I've basically coined myself, and I've felt like I'm doing the most work, especially with where I am in my career, truly taking that step back and like, okay, where are you? Where do you want to be? What aspects can we take right now in order to help get you there? And then when it comes down to looking at products, and that when it comes down to looking at different aspects of those things, we can get to that after. But it's going to be very hard to get someone to invest in an option or start trading options or start, looking at different mutual funds or start looking at different types of retirement plans before I can get them to open up a checking account or a savings account. They're simply just budgeting their money that they have. And I feel like that's biblical. Once you're faithful over little, you'll be able to be ruler over much. So that's the mindset I kind of have. That's the money. Oh. Oh, that's a good question. I'm looking myself. I'm looking myself, and that song there, he had a little laugh. So I don't know if anybody had anything else. I like this a lot. I feel like this is something that I know Fred mentioned we could definitely do on a more consistent basis, whether that be semester to semester or even partner with other organizations to just have this same conversation. I feel like this is a nice little, come to Jesus type thing, a nice little view from a different perspective, like on what we could do. And it's definitely a conversation I like having. So